Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab. Thank you so much for popping on and checking out what I am up to today. So in today's video, I am taking some of the thrifted finds, the secondhand finds that I found when I was out and about at thrift stores and garage sales and estate sales, and I am making them over for you all and sharing how to get them to be something a little bit different than they were, fixing them up and making them into new, beautiful home decor pieces.
So my first three are going to be super simple. Oh my goodness, y'all. When I see these little kinds of crocks containers that I really don't need to do anything to, but just add a little wording to. People just love wording, advertisement wording, and these are perfect for the IOD marmalade stamps. So I've had these in my hoard for quite a while. These are a great investment piece if you are a reseller or you just like to make things over for yourself. Yet again, I'm going to give a shout out to Tracy, who sent me this wonderful contraption, I don't even know what you call it, to hold my round objects from rolling. It is just a perfect little fit for these little crockery. Now you'll see why I'm super excited when I run across pieces like this, because they fit the marmalade stamps perfectly. They remind me of the old antique vintage marmalade jars when I can find something similar that will fit that entire stamp on it. And I find it is so easy to use packing tape. I just put the stamp on the item I want to stamp on. I take the packing tape, I grab it off of there, then I fold over little handles on the side of the packing tape. That just makes it really easy to be able to grab onto a round object. But I leave enough sticky so when I go and after I get it inked up, I have something to attach it to the crockery. So I'm just going to be using the IOD's black stamp ink. And so I'm just going to get my little ink pad all inked up, just freshened up to make sure that I have plenty of ink, and then I'll get my little stamp all inked up. And the nice thing is this crockery has a glossy outer, so don't worry if your stamp messes up, you get a little blurry, because you just take some rubbing alcohol and you wipe it off. Now, if it was an unglazed piece, the story would be a little bit different. You might need a little bit of acetone, but that'll upset the ink a little bit better. So I'm not a fan of this one. You can keep on trying it until you get the one that you consider perfect. Even the old crockery back in the day was not straight on. It was not a clear wording itself, but we can take it off and try again. I'm going to move on to the next one. Now this one has a little bit of a curve to it, so I'm going to probably need, and it's bigger, I'm going to need 2 pieces of packing tape. Ooh, it's a little bit on the bouncy side, but we will make it work. So I'm just going to not, I already grabbed it, so we'll just set it off to the side, but I do know that I'm going to need another piece of tape so I can get it a little bit closer to the jar itself. As you see, it's not as straight on as the other one. After I am satisfied with my perfectly imperfect stamp job on this crockery, you do need to seal it in. Even though that ink is permanent, it's still a glossy item. So I'm going to just spray a fine coat of polyacrylic in the matte finish. Now, don't you already love the rusty, crusty color that this hooded little tin container is? Oh my gosh, I don't even need to paint it, but I do want to embellish it to get somebody's attention for either in my house for a beautiful home decor or for reselling in a retail booth. So yes, so first off, I'm going to go ahead, because it is a secondhand find, you never know what might be on it, and give it a good cleaning. And isn't this the perfect container to put this cute little bunny on? Now this is a 4 set that comes in some green sack. Oh my gosh. I'll link Sarah's store, the Piglet's Closet, down below, because I've already used 2 of these other animals and now I'm using the 3rd. This bunny matches this rusty crusty perfectly. When I'm attaching this, I need to give myself room for the lid to be on. So I want to make sure that I'm not cutting off my bunny's ears. I'm probably going to be taking away a little bit of the wreath that is around it. But yeah, I want to make sure that my bunny is seen. And then I want to be able to distress it. Now this is a decoupage paper that has some fibers in it, some linen fibers in it, or fabric fibers. I'm not really sure what it is, but I want to distress it. I don't want to make it look like it is a crisp line, so all I do is put my fingertip in some water and then just run it around the sides of the paper. It's really easy to distress this way, and then you just pick away, holding the dry side so you don't rip it in too much. I only distressed the 2 sides because I know that this paper is longer than what my tin is. So I'm just going to go ahead and center it, and then I'll cut off that after I get it glued down. So yet again, I'm just double checking, make sure that I haven't cut off my bunny's ears with the lid. And then I'm just going to center it to the best of my ability, keeping it straight. There's not really anything to guide. There's a little bit of seam in the back that I am lined up with, but other than that, I'm just using the outdoor Mod Podge to glue this onto this tin. And now I have a wet wipe, and what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that my sides are all attached, and then I don't want any of that Mod Podge left behind on the tin because it will leave it shiny. So I'm just making sure that everything is thoroughly attached, and once it's dry, I can go in with some sandpaper and just cut off that excess paper. Now my next step is to make it look like I didn't just slap a piece of paper on the front of this tin, and you can see a little bit of where the Mod Podge, even though I tried to wipe it off, it must have just soaked into that really dry, rusty crustiness of this tin. So what I'm doing here is I've got a little black wax and a little antiquing wax, and I'm just going to age it around the sides of this paper. I'm really going to frame in what wreath is there, kind of circling it so your eyes are focused in on that cute little bunny. But you can see how the Mod Podge got on the outside of the paper when I was wetting it down. It just happens, but never fear that we can just keep working on something until we love it. And then after you get it the way that you want it, I'm going to go ahead and seal it in using a metal sealer. So yep, these are all little canister storage units. So my next 2 are really simple because all I'm doing is going into my downloads that I had purchased these labels off of Etsy. The nice thing about that is they're always in there, and you're helping support a small business. And crows sell all year long, but even more in the fall. I just go to my downloads on my computer where I had them saved, then I copy and paste it into my Excel program, and then I size it to what size I need for each one of the canisters that I'm going to be putting these on. I also double check, just because I have a size that I want to fill does not mean it's the size that I'm going to print off. If it stretches the letters out, stretches the animal out, and makes it look wonky, I will downsize it just a little bit. And now that I have the 2 sizes that I need. I'm going to double check before I print and make sure that it is not wider than what my copier paper is going to be, and it is not, so I can go ahead and just print this out with a regular Canon printer and a regular copier paper. And when I thrifted these, I thought these were just the containers that the Dollar General store had earlier last year, I believe. But once I got them home and took the lid off of them, I could tell that somebody actually had spray painted them. And it's not a bad job of spray paint at all. So it eliminated a step that I needed to do. So same thing, all I'm going to do is just attach this label using that same outdoor water Mod Podge. So this is water safe. So if you get it wet, it's supposed to last, no worries there. So just applying a generous amount to the back of it, not too much that it squirts out the side, just enough to get the paper covered. And I'm going to add a little bit of age to these wooden tops of these canisters. So just need to remove the rubber so I don't get to the black wax on top of that. But yeah, I'm just going to darken them up a bit. So I'm just going to be using a wet wipe to apply the wax. That way it does not go on too dark. I also don't want my canister to look newly painted either, along with rubbing the black wax on the canister itself, which is going to catch all those grooves, and those are really going to pop. Once this cures, it's on there, and then along with the paper, I'll let it touch the outer of the paper just a wee bit, just to give it some more age. Now my final are these canisters, and they're actually a little bit worse for wear. Just, I think that it has some staining on it. But on these ones, the wording is raised. So I'm going to have to do a little prep work on that. But other than that, they are perfect for the Enamelware look that I love to do. So first off, I'm going to start off with the lids because I'm going to need to flip them over for both sides to get rid of that gold. So the classic Enamelware look that I like, of course, the Ginger Chick way, is the black and white. So I'm going to go in with some Rust-Oleum Farm Implement black paint to spray these up. And then while that side is drying, I'm going to go in with some 220 sandpaper, and I need to make this nice and smooth. So you really need to feel your wording, because some are totally flat and you wouldn't notice them, and then others seem flat, but once you really get into feeling on it, it's actually sticking out, and so if you spray over it, it's going to really stick out. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that sanded smooth. It'll probably still leave a hue behind of where it stained this white paint. And then I need to get these cleaned off again. When I cleaned them just in hot soapy sink of Dawn dish soap, they really didn't, the paint, whatever paint was on these, stained. So I'm happy to make these over, because I know when I use my paint job, this should not stain at all. I don't know why this one, just the way it was made, I guess is why it stained up. I haven't had any problems with the stuff that I've sprayed with the Enamelware look, so it's just how it's mass produced and manufactured sometimes. But luckily the insides are good. There's no staining in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just tape it off using some 2-inch Dollar General masking tape just to protect the inside. There's no sense of painting over something that doesn't need to be painted. Now when it comes to painting that Enamelware look on white, I really like to spend up a little bit more on my spray that I'm spraying these with. So I usually like the farm implement paint, but I think I must have bought all of them that I have in my surrounding areas. So I'm using this enamel paint, and it seems to be covering perfectly and just be just as glossy as the regular enamelware that I'm looking for. Now I am usually one that will make a stencil and do a paint word on an item, but when it comes to the Farmall paint and this enamel paint, it is such a good paint sealant that it doesn't allow you to do that. That paint will wipe right off. But I am able to do a permanent bio. The Oracle 651 has been sticking wonderful and staying on it, and should be, unless you're really trying to get it off, you should be able to wash these, especially with these being canisters. So all I'm doing is just doing a basic font that is easy to read, easy to see, and then going to be cutting it out using my Cricut. So for these two, I'm just going to do a snack in a treat jar.
So thank you so much for watching today's video, and what did you think? I just love taking items that were no longer wanted and making them into something new and giving them a second chance out there to live on as beautiful home decor. And a lot of them are sometimes canisters and jars are very useful. So thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, give me a quick comment. Have I inspired you in any way to look at secondhand finds in a new way? And also, which one of the items that I made over today were your favorite? So again, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.